aging healthy means longer lifespan?
That is what healthy aging would mean.
Basically being independent.
Lot of difference in the coming years.
Is it okay for them to eat so much of protein?
That gets deposited in the body.
So thank you so much, Dr. Nishmita. Welcome to yet another episode on Go Make a Difference. It's absolutely a pleasure having you here with us today. Let's talk about the most interesting topic for this age, right? Geriatrics. So it's a very new word, right? So could you actually explain to our audience what is geriatrics all about?
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be back on this platform and share my 2 cents about geriatrics. So, geriatrics has been around for quite some time now. It's only now that people are becoming more aware about it. This is partly due to a demographic shift, what we call. Initially what we used to have is a predominantly younger population, but now we see that the younger population is aging. So slowly we are shifting to middle-aged, and in a couple of years, a decade or so, we'll have more aged people in our community. So geriatrics plays a very important role in making sure that they age well and they are independent even in their older years. And also it is not just about adding years to your life, it is also adding life to years.
So does aging healthy means longer lifespan?
Okay, to put it in a way, like a few years back, say during our independence, what was the lifespan of Indians? It was around 35, 40.
Yes.
Yeah, it was around that. So slowly with the advancement in health and science, we have reached to a place where the average lifespan is around the 70s now. So the lifespan has increased, but what we are seeing is with the advancement of sciences, whatever diseases people used to have, like it used to be an acute episode of an illness and then the patient used to pass away or something used to happen to them. But right now there is advancement. So what happens? There is something called compression of morbidity. That means people are able to live well, but all the disease or the side effects tend to accumulate in the last few years. So people are definitely living longer, but because of this compression of morbidity, the last years are not lived in a healthy, independent way. So they are suffering in their last years. So it does not necessarily mean that your lifespan is extending, but healthy aging would mean that this compression of morbidity will not happen. You realize that what are the side effects that you're going to face as you age. You are made more aware of it so that all of these parameters are taken care of and you live a functional, independent life when you age. That is what healthy aging would mean.
Okay. So then is the current 70 the new 50?
Yeah, you can say that. But again, as I said, not many people are as healthy at 70 as they are at 50. Right. So that part needs to be taken care of. It shouldn't be that we are just living longer. We need to take care of the comorbidities well right into your middle ages. Like the 40s and the 50s need to be more aware of, because they're going to live longer, they have to take care of their comorbidities so that they don't become debilitating when they come to that age.
So can we say if there is an individual, say about 60 years of age, if for example when I turn 60, right, I should have a very healthy life and basically being independent, right?
Yeah,
So
that is one thing that kind of bothers them at their last years, that they are dependent on somebody for their routine things, or they have to go to the bathroom, they need somebody's support. So this is what bothers them more than anything. So that independence we have to maintain, that functional independence we have to maintain.
So actually to stay that hale and healthy when you're 60 or 70, you should start off from 30s.
Yeah,
isn't
that
it?
is what I say, even though the geriatrics is basically about treating old people, uh, it is my personal opinion that the younger age group only should be told the complications, what happens, not from a perspective of what happens to their parents or grandparents, but what will happen to them when they grow old. So if that perspective somehow comes into maybe your school curriculum, then it will make a lot of difference in the coming years.
Do you think it will add a lot of value to start off from school itself?
Yes, ideally, yes. The immediate effect will be that they will take care of their grandparents and parents better. The long term effect will be they will have a healthy life from then onwards. You know, it's being taught to us in our school that, you know, you eat healthy, you sleep well, all of these things are taught, but maybe not with the perspective of the side effects that come along with it. It's not being told. So maybe we need to dilute it down for the school kids in a way that is feasible for them to understand.
So what is one habit that people over 60 should stop immediately so that they can have at least a better lifestyle?
All right. So to answer it, I will say that as you said, most people over the age of 60 are set in their ways, kind of set in their ways. I have been told that we should not be stereotyping them in a particular way, putting everybody in the same bracket, but most of them are set in their ways. So they will say, if you advise them anything regarding your food or lifestyle changes, they are more likely to tell you that I have been doing this all my life. My father has been doing it all their life. So we are all okay. So, you know, they don't find the need to address the change as such. For that, I would say that the habits that our forefathers have, we are not following all of their habits, right? So they used to work in farm, walk barefoot, use most of our kitchen appliances. We didn't have it then. So the physical activity that they used to have is not commensurate with what we are having right now. But we are following their food habits, okay? And on top of that, we have this extra processed things. The fast food is also slowly seeping into our habits. So rather than saying that we follow everything that our forefathers were doing, we should tailor things to our need, to our body right now, so that it will, help us in the long run. So this can be in terms of protein intake. Most of them, I don't know why they have made protein into a villain and they don't want to listen that protein is good for you. So protein intake, though, definitely they have to increase. Along with that, maybe we can talk more about protein in the coming things. Along with that, physical activity is one, because just walking some 15-20 minutes a day at your own pace is not going to help you much in terms of uh, uh, physical activity. It has to be a moderate activity, moderate intensity activity, at least for 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. Okay.
Walking.
Yeah, walking. And we know that our mothers especially, they say that they have been working throughout the day. You know, if you tie them a smartwatch, it will already show that they have walked some 6,000, 8,000 steps. So that doesn't count, you know, contrary to what they might believe,
Right.
that doesn't count. Okay.
So it has to be a physical activity, moderate physical activity,
Yes.
that any individual above 60 is supposed to do on a daily basis.
Daily basis, provided they are able to walk and all, you know, they don't have their cardiac condition and all this in place. So they'll have to do this moderate level exercise.
So basically, your body should feel tired at the end of the day. That is, you should
Yes.
sweat it out and you should feel tired at the end of the day.
Sweating, see, again, it depends. So by moderate level exercise, what do I mean? You should be able to complete your sentence, be slightly breathless, not be able to sing, but still able to talk.
Okay.
Okay. So that is what would mean moderate level exercise.
Okay. So you made a catchword, protein, right? Protein has become a fad these days. Everywhere, anywhere, especially vegetarians, protein is something that everybody is going crazy with, or they run away with it. So it is in two extremes, right? So especially for old people, because the topic today is geriatry, right? So old people and protein, if I say my mother or mother-in-law, right? Turn the plate. That's what we generally say, right? Vegetables and your protein, your sundal and everything in one side, and then your rice should to be on the other side. That is impossible. So that is not even
That's
close
the bare
to
minimum.
Yeah.
But that is also impossible.
That is also impossible. So What is it with proteins and elderly people? Will they be able to, is it okay for them to eat so much of protein? Number one. Number two, will they be able to digest the amount of protein? If yes, what is the amount of protein that they should be able to take for their body to digest?
Right. So basically what the recommendation is 1 to 1.2 gram per kg. So if an individual is 60 kgs, they would at least require 60 gram of protein in a day. Why would they require it? To avoid something called sarcopenia. Okay. Sarcopenia is basically when your muscle fibers are lost, right? Slowly, it is a gradual process which begins much earlier, but if you're not, if your body is not having adequate protein, then there is rapid sarcopenia or muscle loss that happens with old age. So this muscle loss, when it happens, it causes insulin receptors also to be lost, right? So they are more prone for sugars, the diabetic spikes, all of those things are due to sarcopenia as well. And along with that, what supports your joint is your muscle, right? So along with the wear and tear of your joints, right, you have this osteoarthritis and all. Along with that, if the muscles are strong enough to support the joint, then they will not collapse and that wear and tear will not happen. So for all of these, we require protein. So second thing that you asked was about digestibility, right? So most people, some people might be like lactose intolerant. Most of our protein is from the whey protein, what we say. So some people develop bloating and other issues like dyspepsia, all these issues they might have. So they have plant-based alternatives for that. So you have to find out what suits you well, and then you have to make it a point that you get at least 2/3 of your requirement. It might be very difficult to complete the full requirement, but at least 2/3 if you start, it will help you in the long run.
So definitely, please note, protein intake is not harmful. I mean, having it in the right proportions is definitely not harmful. It's going to do a lot of good for your bone health as well as you age, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after the protein, the number two that is still coming up, if you see Instagram or any social media.
Yeah, one more thing. So how to, you were talking about flipping the plate, right?
Right.
So there is this easy way to remember. I think most of them would know that if you divide your plate into half, half of the plate, whatever plate you're eating, half of the plate has to be green leafy vegetables and fiber. Okay. So that again we say eating the rainbow. So different color of fruits and vegetables has to be there in half of your plate. The other half of the plate, again you divide it into two. 1/4 of it has to be carbohydrates, right? So the most of the households it is the other way around. The 1/4 will be your sabzi and the other thing will be your carbohydrates. But 1/4 of it has to be carbohydrates. That was something with low glycemic index. Carbohydrates also we have different glycemic indices, right? So it has to be low glycemic index. The other 1/4 you can have protein and dairy. Protein again has to be lean protein in case of non-vegetarians. In vegetarians, we have a variety of sources like this tempeh, tofu, paneer, all of those things has to be included in the other 1/4. This is a very balanced plate. Okay. Ensure that each of your meals is divided into this. You will most of the time get your share of nutrients if you follow this.
Okay. Okay. Now that you know the family members, they have turned the plate and they have a rainbow plate or however you call it. But the general notion is that, you know, if you ask your mummy and all that, mummy, daddy, whoever, uncle, auntie and all, they'll say, my God, I can't eat so much of chenna and tofu and paneer and all. I'm going to become fat. And if I become fat, I can't walk and I will feel breathless. So it's a cycle that they form in their minds. So how true is that? Will they put on weight if they eat so much of protein every day?
Right. So I don't think that's factually right that they put on weight, but what might happen is their fat might get converted into muscle. So they will have less of fat and more of muscle. Again, muscle is heavier than fat, so they might be weighing more, but then they'll not put on weight as such, like, the weight in the sense
look fat
look
or
fat
look
like
chubby.
that, yeah.
Okay.
So the bad fat, the visceral fat gets taken away the once you give more protein, and they'll bulk up in terms of muscle. Bulk up again, it shouldn't be taken in that sense. Like you have the bodybuilders and all, not like that, but you will have your weight, you might still weigh the same or equivalent, but your fat loss will happen if you are taking adequate protein and working out. So they will not put on weight as such.
They will not feel heavy also, isn't it?
No, shouldn't. They should be able to feel more active.
Okay.
On the contrary.
Okay. Okay. So, I was just coming to a question where, people around now on social media, it's becoming very, very famous that, do you have arthritis? Do you have issues in walking? Are you feeling breathless? So on and so forth, right? Whatever it is, do a strength training exercise and you will be sorted. Your BP levels will go down, your sugar levels will go down, everything is going to become normal. The doctors are all awestruck with the results that they're getting. Is that true? If they do a strength training exercise, will there be a lot of difference in their health?
See, basically this exercise prescription, what we call, it has to be different for different people, depending on what you are targeting. If you are targeting more of endurance, then you have to go for cardio. If your thing is what in geriatrics we call about strength of muscles and strength of bones have to be maintained, then strength training is the one that will help them. This will improve their insulin resistance also. It will make sure that they stay active, functional throughout. So strength training is for a different set of people and cardio is for a different set of people. So it has to be tailored according to the individual person, but definitely strength training has its benefit, right? Recently there was this study that instead of walking for 30 minutes, you can do your body weight squats. Every 45 minutes or so, you do 10 body weight squats throughout the day. Then it is equivalent to walking. Even though you don't have time to exercise or have any time for physical activities, you just do this. So there are significant benefits, and more people should be made aware of this. That progressive overload is something that will help them.
All right. So that is factually true as well, right?
Yeah.
So if they do strength training exercises, it has a longer benefit for
So
health.
cardio, they might not be able to do cardio because of their
health. Age,
health.
basically, right? Okay, interesting. So, leaving this physical activity, exercise, strengthening and all that, right? There is another side to it. These are all for people who are high up in energy and want to, take care of themselves, go out and, be there and that extrovert kind of people, if you can call them, right? There is a set of people who are introverts. What is it that we can do for them? They are at home. I'm washing vessels, I am cooking, I'm cleaning and I am drying my clothes. I walk around the house. Like you said, my smartwatch has clocked so much. So I don't think I will be able to do anything because I'm already tired. How dangerous is that for their health?
See, as we age, we need something called as cognitive stimulation, right? For it, having social interactions plays a major role. So this intergenerational interaction has to be there. They have to be in touch with their, younger grandchildren or kids around, and there has to be a constant interaction between them. You cannot be secluded and restrict yourself to your house. So that has to be there.
Otherwise
And they have to find a routine and make sure that they are interacting with people. That is very important. That is why we say they have to get their eyes checked. Even though it might not be bothering their vision, they have to get their eyes checked because the information that they get from television or newspaper, that gets hampered. If they are not able to hear well when people speak, and they will have to ask them to repeat what they're saying when they're not able to hear, no, they kind of become embarrassed, or they will think that, what will people feel that I'm not able to hear. So all of these things come. So interaction, cognitive stimulation, vision, hearing, all of these have to be intact. And when you are more social, you are made aware of this in the earlier stages only, so that you address them.
So, I mean, they will go into a preconceived notion that, I will not be able to talk to people outside, so I might as well stay at home. So they start restricting themselves from going outside, isn't it? So that will actually give a lot of mental stress also.
They have to be around their same group of people. That is the first thing that I ask them, that do you have friends of your age? Do you have a walking group wherein, you exchange whatever is happening in your day-to-day life? So I think that is very important. I know what people you are talking about. I know them also. So it is very important that they find the circle. Right now in their 50s and 60s, it doesn't matter that much.